Hi folks, I'm Terry Mathis and I'm ringside with a homemade sign. Well, not really, we're actually in a storage room right now. We just did MCW Rags to Riches 2 and I'm sitting here with two magnificent Nicky Martin and fans of MCW, fans of numerous wrestling promotions who have come across Nick. You might notice that Nick walks a little different than some of us. You might notice that he talks a little different than some of us. And the fact is that Nick has cerebral palsy, CP.
So Nick Mercanti, he's the promoter, he's the owner, he's the booker here in MCW, and I've been asked to speak on the fact that he has CP, and well, all I can say is that after over 2 years here of 2 years, 3 years, how many years? 4 years of MCW? I thought it was 3. Okay, after 4 years of it, we just had the biggest MCW show, so he's found his niche here, and it's great, and you should keep doing it.
Let's fast forward to how you got into wrestling. Like, were you at an indie show? Did you meet someone? How did that get? Like, how did you actually get into the organization or the participation?
How I got into the business?
Yes. How did you get into the business?
The way I got into business, actually, it was two things. One was I always enjoyed going to the independent shows, but I didn't go, I guess you'd say, on a regular basis, right? Until there was one time a gentleman by the name of Paul Wright, who you may know as one part of the Screaming Egos. Actually, he said to me, we're having a show down in Brantford at a place called Jay's Place. It's actually closed now. But the ring announcer had an issue and he didn't show up.
Okay.
So we're looking for a ring announcer. So come on down, put up some chairs and talk to the promoter, who the promoter was Mike Besher, who most of you here in Ontario Indie would know as Eddie Osborne. And I went and I talked to Eddie and he said, hey, yeah, we'll give you a shot. This was back in 2006, I believe. It was a September show, and the reason why I remember that is because I met Scott Chase there.
Okay.
And he let me ring announce, and it went over well. I made a mistake or two. I wasn't perfect at that point, but who is? It was kind of a
everybody makes mistakes.
And everybody.
Dude, I made mistakes tonight. Oh, sorry. I don't know if you heard that swear or not.
Hey, it's all good.
Yeah, it's okay.
You cover it up real good if you make a mistake, because I didn't notice any. So, but you know what? I did that for a show, and I thought, hey, this is a dream. This is good. And so then I went back, and he let me ring announce a few more times, and that's basically how I got in. And then there was a couple of days where I came back as just a fan, and I started going on a weekly basis to it was every Sunday at Jay's Place for a long period of time. So I got to know the wrestlers, I got to know the fans, and on a more personal level, I got to know Mike. And I'll always credit Mike for getting me in the business, because if it wasn't for him, asking me to ring announce and giving me that opportunity, I probably wouldn't be here. There would be no Nicky Martin.
So now let's fast forward a little more to MCW, which 3 or 4 years now?
November 26th, actually. It'll be 3 years.
It'll be 3 years? Yeah. Okay, I've been telling people 4. So when you see the videos of other people talking about him, I say 4, so it's my mistake. They're not dumb.
That's okay. It'll be 4 next year, or the year after. Well, next year. Yeah.
That's how math works.
Yeah.
I met Nick Mercanti when MCW first started, and yeah, he's a little bit of an inspiration. It's good to see someone not allow their handicaps stop them from doing what they want to do. And I'm really big about just being happy and doing what is in your heart, and it really seems like that he really wants to do what he wants to do, and he doesn't let anything stop him. Good job, Nick.
Excellent.
MCW was more so, hey, you should do this type thing. It was spur of the moment. I was actually on Facebook, and I was talking to Paul Wright, and Paul said, you should do this. We'll do one card, if it goes well, we'll do it again. If not, you don't have to do it again. So I was like, all right, that's cool. So, I thought, well, actually the first I thought was, are you nuts? Like, are you kidding? I can't, normal things that people do when they're trying out a new idea, I guess. They've got the doubt. And, I checked out a couple of different things, finances, contacts, if people would be interested, where we could go. And I found out, you can get the venue, I could get the people. Eddie backed me, Mike backed me 100%. He said, hey, let's do it, let's try it out. So, November 26th of 2010, we decided, hey, it was a Saturday night, 7 o'clock show. And I thought, we're going to do something a little different, because I don't know if, it's something that a lot of people know, but I was told that most feds that start up, or most promotions that just are beginning, they don't have champions. Mm-hmm. They do their little tournament, they have their matches. And I thought, no, you know what, I'm going to do it old school, I'm going to do it different. I want champions after the first show. So I had the MCW championship. I had, actually Paul let me borrow a pair of tag team championships, and I had a women's championship as well. And at the end of that night, first MCW champion, Eddie Osborne. First MCW tag team champions were actually the Screaming Eagles, which at that time consisted of Danny Magnum and Paul Wright. And I believe the women's champion, the first one, was Caitlin Diamond, who's a Brantford native here.
Okay. So you've gotten into wrestling, started MCW. Now, the point of contention here is your CP. Mm-hmm. Throughout getting into wrestling, let's start here. Has there been any skepticism? I know your mom helps out. I know your sister helps out. Your sister's boyfriend, he helps out. So, has there been any skepticism from anybody? Has anybody been scared because of your CP? Because if you get into any business, okay, there's fear. Has anybody been scared about you getting involved or getting physical with your disability? Has anyone said, I don't know if you should do this?
That question actually has come up, and it's something that I discussed on a really thorough basis with my parents, with close friends. But they've always known it's a dream. Back in elementary school, they knew it was just something I was bound, bent, and determined that I was going to do. And it didn't matter how I did it. I always said I'm going to get in the business. I don't care how I'm going to do it. I don't care what I'm doing. If I have to start on the ground floor and work my way up, that's what I'm going to do. And as far as skepticism, that first show, mothers, they're, doing what normal mothers do. They worry. She's like, oh, what if you get hurt? Or, Dad was like, oh, this probably won't end well. But you have to understand my dad. He's, old school. He's Italian. This is the way things should be done. And, he just couldn't really, he just thought, I don't know if this is going to work, Mm-hmm. And then we did the first show and everything worked out okay. And first show turned into a second show, and I think after the second show was when people thought, well, if he doesn't quit after this, it's, he's just going to keep going. And I got clocked in the head with an industrial baking pan that night.
Was that the first time you got physical?
That was essentially the first time that I'd ever really aside from getting up on the apron and choking people on the outside, that was the first time that I ever actually got into the ring and had, something like that. Mm-hmm. And it was funny because we had planned it out, and then he said, oh, you'll be fine, it's just, it's a tin pan. And then after that shot, when I was, came to, it was, oh yeah, that was an industrial baking pan. I couldn't tell you it was an industrial baking pan, but that's what it was. And ever since then, I don't think anybody's really been skeptical of, what I can do or what I'm, wanting to do or able to do. They're just wanted to, they kind of jumped on board, and I really appreciate that.
Well, as you can tell, I'm here today to speak about Nick. He does have CP, and basically that causes him to walk a little funny, and people make fun of him for that. But you know what? I love what he's doing. He's made a great company for MCW, and even today he was able to get in the ring and join the Royal Rumble. And honestly, I give him so much credit for that, because I understand having disabilities and stuff, that it can be hard to get into the ring and do that type of stuff. So I give him full credit for being able to do it. Do I like that he does it? Not so much, because I don't want him to hurt himself more. But, you know, he's going to do what he's going to do, and if he loves what he's doing, there's nothing I can really do to stop him from doing it.
Excellent. Do you feel at any time that people treat you with kid gloves?
No, not really. I mean, there's a couple people when they see me, you know, that you get the whole wrestling fan mentality, kind of like Rey Mysterio, Big Show. It's like, you know, this would never work or what have you. But I think with the way that things have happened and the shows that we've kind of produced, I think we've built. I'm proud of the reputation we've built, because with me and, you know, my supporting cast and everybody else, you know, that's what makes a show come together. You can't do. It's just not one person on a team. It's just, you know, a wrestling family, and I think I've developed a pretty good one.
Hey guys, this is going to end this episode of Ringside with a Homemade Sign. I apologize if it seems that we ended things with Nick a little abruptly. The reason for that is simply time constraints. I cannot emphasize enough how much great footage ended up on the proverbial cutting room floor. Not to say that that's not going to come out later, posts on Facebook, or maybe as like little extras on other episodes. But what started off, I can't emphasize enough, what started off as what I thought would be a good idea, an interesting episode, turned out to be an amazing talk with Nick. Nick is an amazing guy, doing amazing things, and I hope you get the feeling how liked and respected Nick is, not just for, you know, overcoming his disabilities, but you know, for the person he is. So that's going to end this episode. But before we leave, one more friend of Nick's has something to say. I'll see you guys next week.
So the topic of conversation is Nick. Nick wrestling and being involved in professional wrestling with CP. You know what? Whatever works for you, man. Do your thing. There's people that go out there with one leg like Zach Gowen. People who have issues like Gregory Iron, but they go in there and they do it every weekend, every month, every year. You do what you love. It's not about having disabilities. You know what it's about? It's about doing something you loved as a child. Something you followed from day one to now. Something that other people in this world who have no idea what professional wrestling is about and don't understand it, and don't understand the sacrifices and the passion that we have, will ever get it. So do your thing. I'm all for it. Oh, and one last thing. We just had a show, and stop with the spots! 25 spots in 8 matches! Enough is enough! I'm sick of it!